Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to today's session on yoga and health. It is a privilege and honor to have Dr. Manoj Naik, consultant physician, Krishna Hospital and Deccan Chariadri Super Specialty Hospital, yoga teacher at Iyengar Institute, Pune, for today's session. We welcome you, sir, and thank you so much for graciously accepting our invite. So,
greetings from Pune.
Yes, sir. So as per the tradition of the institute, we will begin the session with prayers. Astoma Sadgamaya Tam Soma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I again welcome the speaker of the day, Dr. Manoj Naik, sir. He is a consultant physician, Krishna Hospital and Deccan Chariadri Super Specialty Hospital, and yoga teacher at Iyengar Institute of Pune. Sir is an esteemed physician and a renowned expert in the field of medicine. With an illustrious career spanning over 3 decades, Sir has established himself as a distinguished consultant physician in Pune, India. He has completed his MBBS from the prestigious BJ Government College, Medical College and Sassoon General Hospital in Pune, 1986. Sir has pursued further specialization, earning an MD in General Medicine from the same institution in 1990. He subsequently obtained a D&B in General Medicine from Delhi University in 1991, solidifying his reputation as a highly skilled and knowledgeable practitioner. Throughout his career, Dr. Naik has served as a consultant physician in some of the leading hospitals in Pune. Sir has made invaluable contributions to the medical community, working diligently at Krishna Hospital, Sahyadri Hospital, Pune Hospital, and Joshi Hospital. In addition to his medical practice, Sir is passionate about yoga and its therapeutic benefits. Sir has been practicing Iyengar yoga for the past 25 years and firmly believes in its ability to promote physical and mental well-being. He has shared his extensive knowledge and expertise by writing numerous articles on yoga and has been invited as a faculty member in numerous prestigious yoga conferences. We deeply appreciate your gracious presence, sir, and your willingness to share your valuable insights with us. So I now request the esteemed speaker for today's session to commence the lecture for today's Friday webinar. Please, sir.
Thankful Dr. Suman Rathod, Dr. Basavaraddi, the director, for having me for today's talk. The time was really brief, so I would say it's almost an extempore talk. But for a doctor, it should not matter because health is what we believe we deal in daily. But health is extremely difficult to define. When you are ill, you say, "Oh, I am ill," and when that illness disappears, you say, "I am fit and I am fine." But this distinction is not so easy. When you are able to do everything yourself, you consider yourself fit. When you are able to do everything without any problem, you are fit. But let me give you an example. Suppose a strong person is there. Is he fit? If a strong person murders his neighbor due to some ordinary tiff, or if he steals something, or if he runs an organized gang, will you call him fit? Certainly no. So he may be physically fit, but there is something wrong. So these questions have been bothering mankind for a long time, and it's so the medical community also. So there was a committee established under World Health Organization to define what is health. And this you ask any medical graduate, postgraduate, वो parrot like बता देंगे, रट देंगे कि health is not only absence of disease or infirmity, but presence of physical well-being, mental well-being, and social well-being. This was defined by a committee, a theoretical description. There are lots of deliberations, but there are so many limitations for this theoretical definitions. What is physical well-being is not defined. What is mental well-being is not defined. And what is social well-being also is not defined at all. See, अपने को एक चश्मा रहता है that we call as bias. So I learned, or every medical learns this definition in his medical career. And this we read it out like a parrot every now and then. But our eyes are closed to definitions coming from any other branch, any other field, any other person. So removal of this bias or opening of the eyes is extremely difficult. When I joined yoga practice in 95, I was unaware. I mean, though all the basic principles, yama, niyama, everything were known, still those eyes remained closed. But practicing with Guruji, he used to persistently prod us. What do you doctors know about the body? What do you know about health? You are just theoreticians. You dissect on dead bodies. What do you know about the live body? Subsequently, the eyes opened and the bias removed. Can someone else give a more precise definition about health than doctors? My God, I would say impossible. But here is a yogic science thousands of years old, which has given a much more precise and accurate definition of health. Now, social health. The students of yoga should know this. Which are the yamas? The yamas are ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha. How do you deal with the society? Ahimsa, non-violence, satya, truthfulness, asteya, non-stealing, brahmacharya, celibacy or constance, and aparigraha, non-storage or covetousness. This is how an individual has to live in the society. And this is the perfect definition of social health, which unfortunately the WHO has mentioned theoretically. But the perfection was given thousands of years back in the yamas. So is it not astonishing and is it not surprising? The WHO trying to reinvent a wheel which was already there, an inferior form of wheel, I will say. The individual do's, these are don'ts. What humans we tend to do is we go against the current. Against these yamas is a bhogartha behavior, and with the yamas is apavargartha behavior, an extreme form of social health, which is difficult to follow, but which has to be inculcated. The second health is individual do's. How should you do, or how should you behave in your profession, in your practice, in your work, in whichever you are. And the niyamas gives us the do's. Saucha shantosa tapaswadhyaya Ishwar pranidhana ni niyama. Shaucha is cleanliness in your deeds, in your acts, in your thoughts, in your speech. Santosha is contentment, not happiness. Happiness will be associated with sorrow. That is a duality. Contentment irrespective of whatever you do. Tapas is arduous, sincere, hard work. Will it not make you a scholar or will it not make you succeed? When you do hard work intently and when you assess each and every moment, each and every action of yours, which is called as swadhyaya, not only study of scriptures, will you not become a master of that subject? Non-competitive master. Competition gives rise to an unhealthy stress and strain. And when you succeed with that, you devote all the work of your, all the success or rewards of your fruit to the Lord. That is Ishwar Pranidhana. So individual health and social health has been given by our rishis and munis thousands of years back. Yama and Yama have been given by sage Patanjali. So these students of yoga should know the precise definition of health is given thousands of years back. It is difficult to define health, but very easy to define disease. You have fever and you will say, oh, I have body ache. You have joint pain, oh, my knee is aching. So sickness is difficult. Sickness is rather easy to define, but good health is not. Now, let us come to today's talk. I am a student of B.K. Iyengar, who passed away in 2014 at the ripe age of 96. And the photo you can see behind is the iconic photo of Shirshasana, the king of asanas. And in the background is the Eiffel Tower. That is the Trocadero point. From where he was doing Shirshasana, there is a steep vertical fall behind 60 feet on the floor. Third, on that age, he was doing balance for a national newspaper, the Le Figaro, way back in 80s or early 90s. And as a tribute, I don't know whether you can see on the screen, his students giving him a tribute on his centenary year, all are doing Shirshasana at that same point. So now let's come to the other limbs of asana. Asana and pranayama are the third limb. Pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, samadhi together constitute the 8 limbs of Ashtavangani of sage Patanjali. Now we have super specialists in medicine. I'm a specialist in internal medicine. You have further super specialization, cardiology, nephrology, surgeon, laparoscopic surgeon, neurosurgeon. So similarly, in the field of yoga, there are super specializations. To give you an example, Bhishmacharya is a representation of Brahmacharya. Lord Hanuman is a super specialist as far as Brahmacharya is concerned. Mahatma Gandhi, Ahimsa and Satya, they all followed all the limbs of Ashtanga Yoga, but they super specialized in one limb by which they have become legendary. So in this century and in the last century, P.K.S. Iyengar has mastered himself in the limbs of asana and pranayama. From the age of 16 to the ripe age of 96, for 80 years, 8 decades, his tapas continued uninterruptedly. And based on his experiences in asana and pranayama, he has shown that how asanas can open the gateways of health for all. And by his prajna or prajnana shastra, he used to call yoga always as an experiential science. Other sciences as experimental. We experiment on something and draw conclusions. But here you experience and experiment on yourself rather than an experimental animal. And the conclusions which you draw help others and are a guideline for others. Friends, so yoga is a science of practice and experience. And the ripeness in your practice and the truthfulness in your practice and the truthfulness and sincerity in your transmission of knowledge should be a help and light for others. And that is what his life was. So how can asanas offer holistic health? Asanas seem physical, but they are not physical. So Guru used to say, why do you label asanas as physical? They give you a physical health, certainly. But health has got several components, he used to say. The first and foremost is the physical health. Then you have, according to his terminology, based on his experiences, he has given these terminologies which are not there, not found anywhere. Second health is physiological health. First is physical health. You have to have a fit physique. Then is the physiological health. Then the organic health. Then the mental health. Then the emotional health. Then the intellectual health. And finally the spiritual health. So this definition is extremely complex. This he has not put just as a theoretical definition, but he has shown us the way to achieve this after treading himself on the same path. Now, one by one, I will try to give a brief summary, I can say, of the insights of his practice. I have a request to Dr. Suman Rathore that time is too short, and if the time overshoots, please warn me before. If the talk finishes well before time, I have no idea. But just give me a hint 5 minutes before the talk is over, because this is an extensive talk. You have lots of volumes on diseases, but hardly few books on health. So first, let us see what is physical health. Do you want now? Unfortunately, following the COVID, there is some way of we can interact each other. But a real way to conduct and transmit knowledge is 1:1, face-to-face, offline. Online can be a substitute, but cannot be a permanent measure. For a distant learning, yes, it can. But for yoga, offline is the real form of treatment. Now, what is physical health? Now, how does a yogic science approach the body, and how does a medical science approach the same human body? The medical science says we are made up of 300 trillions of individual cells. A group of cells will constitute an organ. A group of organ systems subserving a common function is called as a system, and a human is made up of a number of systems. The respiratory system, circulatory system, digestive system, nervous system, endocrine system, hematological system, immune system, and you name those systems. That's how we analyze those systems or human beings as being made up of systems. And yoga tells us to develop health in all the systems by functioning on the cells, or what is called as cellular health. These concepts are new and probably unknown to doctors also. What is cellular health? We shall consider as the talk progresses. And yogic science says that we are made up of Purusha, or the universal Paramatma spreading all over. And the second changeable or ever-changing part is Prakriti. And Prakriti is made up of Pancha Mahabhutas, the Prithvi, Up, Tej, Vayu, and the Akash. Their infra-atomic qualities, or the Pancha Tanmatras, which is the Shabda Sparsha Rasa Rupa Gandha, the Pancha Karmendriyas, which is 2 arms, 2 legs, the organ of speech, the genital and the excretory organs. These constitute what is called as Sthula Sharira. These sense organs, the ears, eyes, nose, tongue, and skin. And finally, the Sukshma Sharira, which is composed of Chitta. And Chitta is made up of Manas, Buddhi, and Ahankara. This is the Sukshma Sharira. The Sukshma Sharira is present all over. So, in asana practice, the Sthula Sharira is made use of by the Sukshma Sharira to reach the Karan Sharira. The end result of asana is samadhi, or union with the soul. You join the individual consciousness with the cosmic consciousness. So, first is physical fitness. Why do you need a physical fitness? Even spiritual sciences. Nayamatma balahinena labhyaha. A weakling, physical weakling cannot achieve anything, leave apart spiritual goals. So you need a strong body for your sadhana. But later on, as you progress, you require to train and discipline it so that you don't go towards the bhoga, but you go towards the apavarga marga, that is towards emancipation. So if you have a strong body, you can enjoy life, but don't abuse it. If you have a strong body, you can enjoy your sports, you can travel, you can do whatever, you can study more. So life is enjoyable if you have a strong body. Now, musculoskeletal system is made up of various joints, various muscles, and various ligaments. About 200 odd joints, 600 plus muscles, and a vast number of ligaments and structures. It is a complex system which helps us move about. The respiratory system is also, our breathing also is a muscular art, a muscular act. If we don't breathe, we die. So if we don't move, we are also close to death. So you have to understand that the muscular system has to be kept healthy. Now, the difference between various other forms of exercises and yogic aspect is that various forms of exercise are called as patchy exercises or angabhaga sadhana. They act patchily. If you walk, predominantly your legs will work. If you run, predominantly your legs will run. If you say do pull-ups, your hands will develop. So they will work on the peripheral body. They don't work on the entire body. Now let's consider only this aspect. The asanas are holistic, that they work on each and every joint, each and every muscle, each and every ligament, each and every bone. Now, how are joints kept healthy? Now you have to understand, when you do any movement, there is wear and tear. So in asanas, the joints are moved in a non-frictional manner by giving space element. That is the Akash Tattva. And with that, if you move the joint through the maximum range of movements, they are lubricated from inside by exercising or giving space to allow the synovial cavity or synovial membrane to function, which secretes the synovial fluid for lubrication. As there is lubrication is more, there is less of friction and less injury chances. So your joints are moved through all ranges. With shortage of time, this is going to be a theoretical talk. Otherwise, it should be a practical talk. So your all joints are kept healthy by stretching. Their fibrous ligaments are stretched and kept elastic. So your joint stiffness becomes less. Now, as you age, you develop stiffness everywhere. 12, 13, you see that your lumbosacral joint becomes stiff. As you progress, the upper spine and the limbs become stiff. So by 40 or 50, people may not be able to sit down. By 60 or 70, knee movements, hip movements become difficult. And later on, arm movements also become difficult. So even if you consider the physical perspective, at the age of 60, 70, would you want a range of movements to be there? Wouldn't you want to be active climbing stairs, climbing down? At the age of 80, Guruji says the base benefit you can expect is show off others by tying your shoelace at 80. But this physical benefit does not interest a yogi. He is interested for further pursuit because he wants to use this musculoskeletal health for further penetration inside. So with healthy joints, the knee pains, the lumbar spondylitis, the shoulder stiffness which comes with age can and certainly should be avoided. Now this is a pandemic of what is called as non-communicable diseases. These are not diseases of aging. With regular practice, this can be avoided. Shoulder stiffness, neck pain, back stiffness, hip stiffness, to name a few. You see an elderly person walking and you will realize how his spine is bent, how his hip flexion is there. So these are all deformities of aging which can be definitely avoided. And that is the aim of yogic sciences. You see the upright posture, any of Guruji's posture, he was upright 96. This is not only for your physical stiffness, but this chest open posture gives you confidence. This is a posture of courage. So you have to understand that physical health has a lot of bearing on your mental health also. As all the joints are kept healthy, let us see how the muscles are kept healthy. When you do any exercise, you contract all the muscles, and this contraction ultimately leads to certain injuries. The yogic action is reverse. The muscles are stretched to such a stage that they become long, and this is called as longitudinal hypertrophy. In bodybuilders, you get a bulk or bulging of your biceps and triceps. That is thickening of the muscle fiber size. That bulky hypertrophy does not make a muscle as strong as the long muscles. See the legs of a marathoner. They are long muscles. So yoga stretches all the muscles. These muscles remain elastic and are less prone for injury. So even for athletes with regular practice of muscles and joints which they use, they can train themselves to be resistant to injuries. Casual step here and there, if you fall, you also will become less resistant to injury. Now, secondly, as the muscles shrink, the deformities of age don't come only because of joint stiffness. It's also because of muscle shortening. The anterior spine, anterior muscles, abdomen shrinks. So that's why that bent posture comes. So if you keep all the truncal muscles, the spinal muscles, thousands of muscles, I mean, I don't want to give an anatomic disposition here. Your posture and the corresponding organic state and the mental state remains in good health. How do you make the bones strong? This is only of the musculoskeletal system, and this base you have to understand. Your bones become strong, of course, by muscular movement, but the yogic aspect is unique that you load your bones. Standing on your legs will make your legs strong, but standing on your head, Shirshasana, is king of asanas because that gives compressional load for your dorsal spine. That's why your spine becomes erect. Otherwise, standing on your legs will make your hips strong, lumbar strong, and they become stiff. And because of contraction, they become fibrous. That's why you bend. But the dorsal spine is the weakest because there's no weight bearing. So remember, inversions are the key for spinal health. They maintain the spine and all the higher aspects of health, the physiological, organic, mental, and whichever aspect of yoga, that is dependent on a healthy spine. Healthy spine is a Merudanda, which gives you organic health, health to the chakras, health to various organs, health to the brain, health to the nervous system, health to various other forms. Now you remember, with these fit muscles and fit joints, you go to the next step, which is called as organic health. And this is a strange concept where you have to give some time to understand what that organic health is. Now, our physical health is not dependent on muscles. That is dependent on the various organs. So whatever, if you eat, if you digest properly, if you assimilate properly, if all the toxins are excreted properly, and if all the systems are functioning, then only you will become strong. If your liver is sick, you will lose weight, you will develop edema, you will develop jaundice, you will not be able to do anything. If your kidneys are failing, then there will be loss of appetite, weight loss, high blood pressure, anemia. If your intestines are not absorbing properly, you will see all thin-built individuals. They are sick individuals. So how do you make these systems healthy? And the yogic method or asana increases the blood supply. You remember, the currency of the human cells is blood. You cannot prosper until you are economically prosperous. If blood is supplied in plenty to an organ, it becomes healthy. But unfortunately, your stomach does not receive blood when you exercise. The blood is shunted to the exercising muscles. and it is diverted away from the splanchnic circulation, meaning the liver, the kidneys, and all. So if you exercise on a full stomach, there is no digestion and you vomit out. So if you exercise, blood goes to the muscles. Only when you eat does the blood reach your gut for digestion or for the liver for its function or for whatever. But yoga uses a unique way, various twistings, the Bharadwajasana, Ardhavatsyendrasana, Marichasana, where the spine is twisted and with various arm locks, with various body postures. The spine and the abdominal muscles, which are obliquely placed. See, all the muscles are otherwise straight, but the spinal muscles and the abdominal muscles are unique that they are oblique. And with this oblique, there is a churning movement. So in various sitting asanas, Marichasana, Bharadwajasana, Ardhamatsyendrasana, there is a twisting angle given to the spine, Parivritta Kriyas, you can say, Parivritta Janu Shirshasana, and with various interlock, all your abdominal organs are massaged, they are rinsed, they are squeezed, they are extended, and all sorts of physical kriyas, they are done to increase their blood supply. Blood is squeezed out of an organ, fresh blood is bound to flow. So non-eating exercise flow induced blood flow to these organs to keep them healthy. This is a unique way not found in anywhere. These organs remain healthy and their feedback automatically improves. So if you regularly do these asanas, you'll find that you will not eat more. If you try to eat more, you can't practice next day. And your desire to eat also becomes less. That is a mental regulation. And just imagine a non-communicable pandemic, non-communicable disease, the major problem is obesity. You go to a school and you see school children, 10-15% are obese. You stand outside an IT office, so many people are obese, bloating stomach, bellies, huge buttocks, sun posters. So is this lifestyle accepted by us? Is it acceptable? How can medicine correct it? Just by taking multivitamins, will it go? Certainly no. So remember, friends, that health has to be earned through sweat and toil. It cannot be purchased. It cannot be brought in a shop. It cannot be given in a hospital. So the yogic way, or way by asanas, by which you can earn or keep these organs healthy by increasing their blood supply, is organic exercise. The asana, unfortunately, I cannot show because this is an online program. This is more of a theoretical talk. Secondly, is the physiological health, the health of the cardiovascular system and the respiratory system. How do you work on the heart? How do you exercise the heart? How do you exercise the lung? In fact, when you exercise, there is a secondary effect on the heart and lung. So when you exercise or when you run, you see that your breathing goes, your blood pressure increases, your heart increases. And even walking is called as cardio, but these aerobics are not cardiac exercises at all. They are primarily muscular exercises. And the secondary effect is, as the muscles require oxygen and blood to carry on their work, the heart and lungs are secondarily made to force. So primarily it is not a cardiac exercise or cardiorespiratory. No, it is called as cardio. It is a misnomer. It is a muscular exercise. And as a result of the increased demand, the heart and lungs are secondarily forced into activity. So remember that muscular activity is secondary. Now in asanas, all of you students, you can see, just extend your hands up. And this is simple Urdhvastasana. I don't know, I can't see on the screen, but if students are there, please extend your hands and see, extend the side trunk. The hand is taken up. Urdhva is not a physical training, just up and down, but up. So extend the side ribs and create space element in the side ribs. Feel the ribs and increase the space in the ribs. If the ribs are stretched, the lungs underneath are stretched. Various twisting actions. Again, extend the lungs and the alveoli inside. Various inversions, they extend each and every part and parcel of the lung. Now the lungs, though they are located in the rib cage, when you open up that surface area, is that as much of a tennis court. So remember why 84 lakhs of asanas. In each asana, there is some action on some part of the lung. So the alveoli there are opened. If the alveoli are opened, they can receive air. And if they receive blood, they can oxygenate that blood. So in inversion and various body postures, the lung is distributed to each, blood is distributed to each and every corner of the lung, where this admixing of the pure blood and purification of blood with oxygen is an effortless process. So your stamina increases. So remember, this is cardiac exercise. This is respiratory exercise, the lungs. Now, when the hearts, if you students, you see your back bends, and I would recommend that you see the postures on light on yoga because they are the precise depiction of the end result of asana. If your anatomical placement is as per that, you are in samadhi. So it is not just a pictorial representation of the perfect asanas. The effect is samadhi of those asanas. So with back bends, you are using your spine to increase the anterior spinal space. And what lies in front of the spine? The aorta that is stretched, the heart which is stretched. The back bends open the heart. It is compressed against the sternum to do what is called as cardiac massage. When a person suddenly collapses, you must have read a person while working in the gym suddenly collapsed and died. You rush there and pump the heart between the sternum and the vertebral column and try to revive a person. That is cardiac massage. So yes, friends, medically it is a fact that heart can be massaged by compressing the sternum in between the sternum and vertebral column. Yogi uses a reverse way. We stand on our legs, yogis stand on their head. So similarly, we medicos massage from the front, the yogis massage from behind. All the back bends stretch the heart completely, giving it a cardiac exercise as the aorta is stretched over a period of time. Over a period of time, it becomes more elastic. The effect of aging on arterial walls is like muscles and joints. It becomes stiff and stiff. As the arteries become stiff, your blood pressure increases with aging. If you stretch and stress your arteries, the arteries remain elastic. And the blood pressure does not increase with age. At 96, Guruji's BP was 110/70. So that is the effect of blood pressure. Cardiovascular health, you can say. Otherwise, with aging, invariably work only on the limbs with no organic action, no physiological organic action, and you are prone for developing these various diseases. So this is, in brief, the physiological or health of the cardiorespiratory system. And now let us go to other higher aspects. The main postures to be followed by all yogis, all proficient yogis, all sadhakas are inversions. Without inversions, you cannot progress in yoga. Shirshasana and Sarvangasana, they are the father and mother of asanas. Because if you stand on your head, you are utilizing your nervous system. Remember, when you stand, you can use your indriya, the eyes to see and balance. There is an equilibrium system, nervous system, where cerebellum and various parts and proprioception which help you to stand. But when you stand on your head, it is not muscular exercise. That is just a part, of course. But it is a proprioceptive exercise where your joint sensation feedback, the indriyas, they help you how to balance. The vertebral alignment. This is all development of higher faculties. In Sarvangasana, in Shirshasana, the predominant action is on the spine. And in Sarvangasana, it is on the paraspinal muscles, ribs, and all the ligaments in that place there. So imagine the centers and the paracentral region in the spine. What lies in the spine and what crisscrosses in the spine? The physical aspect is action on the spine. I don't know, I am not seeing any of the students, but what lies in the spine according to yogic sciences, which if activated and regulated, have a profound regulatory influences on the mind. That is various chakras. So remember that the base for access to the chakras is utilizing the invajana, and there is an asana which is called as chakrabandhasana. Bandha is to tie and regulate. So all these chakras are regulated. So these inversions give a profound effect on the mind. And with this profound effect, your attitude towards life, your attitude towards food, your attitude towards sex, your attitude towards behavior with your colleague, your attitude towards life, your attitude towards death, everything changes, And that is what is the aim of mind, where you gradually, one by one, ascend and transform your gunas. Prakriti is made of 3 gunas. From Tamo, you go to Raja. From Raja, you go to Sattva. And finally, you reach the luminous stage. When you reach that stage, then yoga becomes a discipline from within. Anushasanam. You don't have to be forced. Do asanas daily. Do pranayama daily. This comes from within. And these higher aspects, remember, I can show you. I ask you to show me your hand. You'll show me your hand. I will tell you, show me your eyes, you will show me your eyes. But if I ask you, show me where is your mind? You cannot show anywhere. It is a Sukshma Sharira all over. So remember that the body is used as a tool to regulate and modulate the mind. That's why 84 lakhs of asanas are there. If you think, or if there is a misunderstanding or misbelief, I will pardon an onlooker on the road for saying, okay, I don't want to do so many asanas, I will do one or two. But if a student says he is a corrupt student, he has to do all asanas to aspect the flavor of it. Like honeybees, they travel to so many flowers to aspect the nectar. You have to go to all asanas and ultimately get the nectar out of it. And the nectar of it has been mentioned by Patanjali. He has given in through the three sutras the entire effect of all asanas. Sthira Sukham Asanam, Prayatna Shaithilyananta Samapattibhyam, Tato Dvandva Nabhigataha. Sthira Sukham Asanam. Beautiful misinterpretation by our own yogic colleagues. I would say this is shameless. Sit in any comfortable pose. That is a dead body. A dead body cannot do anything. The dead body suffers. So sthira is stability in the posture. When everything is pressed precisely, there is stability. And then a comfort ensues from within. You stand for 15 minutes, you feel uncomfortable, you sit down. You sit for 3 hours, there is a discomfort and you start moving because there's restlessness. You're not in an asanas. So sitting passively is not an asana. From the simplest to the difficult, Sthira Sukham Asanam has to be the first result. When your efforts to correct and rectify, see how is the brain, mind, and higher faculties involved. You do something, we are not aware of our body. We do something and we are not aware. We do something unaware. That is physical training. But when you do something, your mind should penetrate inside a certain part, you can say. And that awareness, normally we are aware of diseases, but we are not aware of our healthy body parts. So that is dharana. When asanas, when you focus your mind inside, then you see and analyze the placements, various parts, what sensations are emanating. That is perceived by the sensory cortex. Action is motor cortex, perception by the sensory cortex. You do on both sides. And then you compare. That is synthesis facility of the faculty of the mind. Then you compare these feelings, see what is wrong and do readjustments, planning, execution and improvement. So this cycle continues till you start getting perceptions from all over. So you focus your attention, dharana in asana, dhyana in asana. And then when you become one in with that part, it becomes a samadhi. And that patch by patch you develop and improve your awareness all over. And when that awareness is there all over, it is a stage of samadhi. Pore and pore exists in that bliss. And that is true samadhi in asana, not for us. We are heading towards that path. We are not proficient in that. So that is the end result of that asana. So when your efforts, you pour in your efforts with your maximum willpower, you achieve that thing and then you surrender to the Lord. You become one with the Lord. Then prayatna shaithilyam ananta samapatti bhyan. The effort cease to become effortless. It's not cease efforts and do passively. That is prayatna shaithilyam ananta samapatti bhyan. And when you are with Ananta, the mind is not concerned with dualities at all. That is how yogis do it. Now, Guruji's definition of health, it is a dynamic awareness of the life force which comes with asanas. Remember, we are not aware of the body. Our mind goes outwardly. Pratyahara, it has to be brought inside and then one by one you have to become aware by asana practice. You are aware of your knee if it pains. You are aware of your neck if it pains. You are aware of some injury if it develops there. But otherwise, body awareness is not there. That is a special posterior sensory cortex, parietal cortex, what is called as somatosensory cortex, which plays the role of somatognosis, knowing the body, somatognosis. So when this gnosis or knowledge becomes equal all over, then you have reached the end stage. And this is the spiritual health. All the mental training, mental development, whatever faculties are there, are you see your planning, your execution, your observation, your attention, your execution, all reasoning, logic, why do asanas this way, why change? If you're doing a patient with any problem, how should you do? The same approach you use on others gently. With this same approach, you progress and finally reach the stage of samadhi. Guruji was a realized yogi. And this path he has given for all of us to progress. His definition of samadhi, which I'm understanding now, the body is the bow. Asana is the arrow and the target is the soul. In perfect asana, the target is struck. So he has clearly told us that with us body as a means and asana as the tool, bow and arrow, I have reached the soul. We have not reached the soul. Our arrows are going everywhere except the target. It doesn't matter. We have made a beginning, progress, and practice towards first physical health. Physical health is not wrong because without that, the physiological health, organic health, mental health will not come. They don't come by someone telling you from outside. If someone tells you from outside, do this, don't do this, you will do only if that person is your boss. But the moment that person disappears away, your own nature will surface. So yoga is a self-discipline. That discipline has to come from within. With asana practice, all these surface or hidden aspects come out to the fore. And you don't need any force from outside. Your discipline, the yama niyama, no one need to be told. You will follow them automatically. You will automatically follow the principles of Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upeksha, gladness, joy, helpfulness, forgiveness. I mean, all the other aspects which are mentioned in various texts of yoga. So you become such a person. I am not. I am describing what I have seen in a live yogi. This is description of a person who has realized the end stage in an asana. This work will be valid for millennia and ever forth, because henceforth, or even before this and hence after, such detailed exposition about asanas will not be there. Unfortunately, there are some limitations, because I have seen some people saying, why do you need asanas? They are only physical. Stay away from such ignorant yogis. Have a pity on indifference. Yogic science shows us how to deal with such yogis. Upeksha, indifference. They may call you, you're physical yogis. You're not yogis at all. Yes, sir. Indifference. We know what we are doing. Don't argue with him. This health will help you and be a good tool for whatever profession you choose. If you are a sportsman, you will be a better sportsman. If you are a doctor, you will be a better doctor. If you are an instrumentalist, you will be a better instrumentalist. Because Lord Yodhi Menon has said that Guruji was my best, not yoga teacher, my violin teacher. Because he used yoga or asanas in such a way that his violin playing, the maestro, legendary violin player the universe has never known. He said that my violin practice improved because of yoga practices. So whatever pursuit you are following, you will become better in that. People will start seeking your company rather than shunning your company. And there, if you are friendly with all, fine, life will become truly worth living. Secondly, everyone talks about, health, physical health, mental health, whatever health. Yes, you live strong at 60. If you are blessed with good health, without doing anything, also you can be healthy. Does not mean yoga should not be practiced. But how long are you going to live? At one stage comes when you are going to die. Even before that, if there are some illness, Adidaivika, if some tree falls on your head, you are going to be injured. So there are some illnesses which you cannot avoid. So remember, absence of disease nahi. If disease come your way, facing them with equanimity is also a part of health, not mentioned anywhere. If you face a disease, you have to face it with equanimity. It will come your way, not by abusing your senses, mind, or whatever. That you will learn to bear in a holistic way. And lastly, when you are able to die, you face death with grace, without any regret, any whatsoever. So life and death are two parts of the same side, same coin. They will help you. And they will certainly be helpful for doctors also, because nowadays, health and end of life cannot be separated. End of life, 1996, you are not going to have some problems and reach a point where you have to say bye-bye for this life. If this is your last life, if you have reached the yogic stage, that is kaival, emancipation. But death is not samadhi. Death is death. By our samskaras, we are going to be reborn. By our desires, by our karmas, we are going to be reborn. So at least work in this life in such a way, by using yogic principles and practices, that you become friendly with all, you behave nicely in the society, you do good work and good productivity to your friend society, you be good to yourself and progress. And even if you reach the end stage, doesn't matter. The next life will make it worthwhile because the sanskaras, according to yogic sciences, are carried. Life and death may be interrupting our life, but the sanskaras and vasanas carry eternally. So with next life, let us pray that we are born with even better sanskaras to continue our journey. And that is probably what you can call as spiritual health. So to summarize, I will say that physical health, physiological health, organic health, these concepts are unknown. Then health of various systems and health of individual by working on the gross. If there is a nation, if an individual gets more income, he will be happy, per capita income. So similarly, if a cell gets more blood supply from your brain cell to cells of the skins, to cells of the lips, to the eyes, whatever, they will function properly and give their proper input. And if the entire nation, all citizens are happy, then the entire nation, which is the embodiment, will be happy. And if the entire nation and embodiment is happy, the king of the body is the mind. If the mind is happy, who won't want that happiness? So that intrinsic happiness comes by keeping your citizens happy. If the king is delirious, enjoying, abusing his luxuries or whatever, and doing zulam bolte na usko on his citizens, then doom awaits him. So I hope I have conveyed some of the aspects of health which Guruji has given all throughout his life. I stop here due to want of time. I don't know if I exceeded my time, but I stop here. Thanks a lot for the patient listening. I hope you are listening patiently because you can't see anyone. So I hope voice was clear. I hope the concepts are clear. Thanks again once more.
Yes, sir. So this
Once again, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an engaging lecture and taking it from here from a physical body to the celestial self. Okay. So the thing is, there are certain questions which few of our students have asked. One of which is from Samskara, about which we were talking about just a minute back. That is, can Samskara be changed in any manner?
Our practice is to change that. Transformation happens slowly. It's not by suggestion. If the samskaras are dependent on vasanas. So as you practice and as you progress, whatever you have earned by your previous deeds, that karma vipak siddhanta, when that karma ripens, you will have to bear the fruits. But further samskaras you can change. That is the aim of yogic practices. If I have done something wrong in the past, I can't rub that. I should not rub that. Don't be under that illusion. You pardon others, but for your deeds, you will not be pardoned. That karma vipak siddhanta, everyone has to know.
Okay. Then
whatever acts, I'll give a reference. Vitarka, himsa, daya, kruta, karita, anumodita, lobha, krodha, moha, purvaka, mrudu, madhyati, matra, dukkha, agyananta, phala, iti, pratipaksha, vavanam. Whatever actions which you do out of greed, lust, or whatever, they will lead to endless ignorance and sufferings. And they have to be countered. They have to be countered by yogic practices in going against that current of thought which drags us there.
Okay, then there's another question which we have received from one of our viewers from Facebook, and that person is asking, how does yoga promote mindfulness and improve our focus and concentration?
That was what the talk is. Now, let me give you an example. Have you done Vrukshasana initially? Stand on one leg. There is a fear of falling. So that mindfulness is required. You can't be casual in your practice, otherwise you will fall. So standing on one leg in Vrukshasana or Ardha Chandrasana, if your attention wanders here or there, you fall. So that attention is required. But once you learn that, or if you are established and in that pose, and if you become proficient, then your mind can become loose and wander here or there. But then you progress to the next level of difficulties. If you do a basic asana and you are content with that, you are not progressing further. So that's why progressively difficult asanas is there. If you master an asana. You can't master, of course, the end result I have told you. But if you become proficient in an asana, or you can do it easily, that is not perfection. But to keep your mindfulness, difficult asanas are there, where your mind has to be engaged in that continually challenging process.
Okay. Sir, another question which we have received is, uh, could you please discuss in short about the role of yoga in alleviating muscle tension or pain in muscles?
Goal of yoga is chitta vritti nirodha tada drashtu swarupe vasthanam. That is the goal of yoga and yogis. Now remember, if someone progresses in yoga, we with our mindset, oh, I have this pain here, what do I do? I have to do muscle tension. So remember, yogis follow the principle of Maitri and Karuna. They are friendly to a sufferer. So a yogi will receive your complaints, try to see what is wrong with you, try to experience it on himself and give a solution for you. For a yogi, there are various obstacles, and the first obstacle is Vyadhi. Vyadhisthana samshaya pramad alasya viradi bhranti darshana labdha bhumikatva anavasthitatva chitta vikshepaste antaraya. These antarayas have to be removed. So Vyadhi, disease is an obstacle. Disease-free state has to be attained by a yogi to be practicing further. It is your own way you have to find out. You can't go to a doctor. A yogi will help you, of course. But how to remove these Vyadhis? Patanjali says, Tat pratishedhartam ekatatvabhyasa. Ekatatvabhyasa. You know your remedies, find your diagnosis, find your way yourself and cure yourself. This will seem a rough answer, but it is given in yogic texts. They have not said muscle tension. Vyadhi is a chitta vikshep. You find your ekatatvabhyasa, single pointed attention, awareness and study. So you have to study yourself moment to moment, continually analyze not only your thinking, your physical movement, mental movements, how you interact. Now how I am interacting. After 1 hour, I will interact. How will I will be in my sleep. So continual awareness of your avastha, nidra, jagrut, whatever. So with that, you analyze the physique. Don't disregard muscles as unimportant. Why the tension comes, you have to find. Of course, we are unable to find. That's why that is where the role of yogi. Yoga is not a therapeutic science. Remember, there is no competition with medicine at all. Should not be. If you have a fracture, you have to get. If you have sprained your ankle, you have to get surgical repair. Whatever that injury is there. But if it is due to some of these lifestyle diseases or whatever, your friend who is proficient in this, you seek help, and there will be some. That will depend on each individuals. A college student coming with muscle tension, an elderly coming with muscle tension, whatever the cause has to be found, and then some remedy has to be given. It's not a prescription science. Take Dolo or take some Tylenol or take some paracetamol or take some painkiller. That's not the answer. Whatever the cause has to be found out, and then it can be relieved.
Okay. So thank you so much for presenting such an insightful lecture, for giving a new dimension to our students who are interested in this field of yoga, health, and therapeutic techniques. It was a pleasure to have you today. So thank you so much, sir, for sharing your wisdom with us. We will now conclude this session with Shanti Part. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you so much, sir. It was wonderful to have you today.
See you soon.
जी सर.
Offline.